Greetings, 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 space traveler. Greetings, 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 time traveler. I'm eating a snack right now, okay? It's not really appropriate to show myself while I'm eating my snack. I'll tell you what I'm doing. Lightwave, my ITC Lightwave. So we looked at my design last night, and how come I'm not seeing anything here? And so I've come to a conclusion that I need to have my light sources on top of the machine. So what I'm doing now is I'm fine-tuning the design of the top of the machine, the first part of the machine, which is called, believe it or not, an interferometer. I have this music to listen to, you know. I'll bring up my illustrious webcam momentarily. So, as luck would have it, we're already going to have a pre-made slit on top of the machine. Actually, what I could do, I could go ahead and bring up the design program here. What happened over here? Why am I over here? Am I like done with this meal? See if I can find the picture I could probably use. So I went through a lot of theory, yada yada yada. There's that a little bit, it's too messy. I've got two designs. I could probably actually turn that music down a little bit. It's actually one design. One I call the reflective, and the other I call the translucent. So, in both cases, we use an interferometer. And there's actually another device. It's called a Sleringer setup, and what that does, it sees density changes in the air. That shit's freaking amazing. Guess what? We're gonna incorporate that into our design. Just not tonight. Bear with me here. So basically, the first couple of things I need to do, we could use this picture right here, is I need to get a couple of things accomplished. Where is my stream mode? This music is pretty good. Alright, where is... I want to click this one here. I'll drop out the pyramid. Oops, yeah, right. So we'll use this for my my basis here. Or actually, let me make this bigger. Because what we're doing, what we're working with, is this little section right down here. It's kind of in a right angle. So as I mentioned, if you could imagine the entire Lightwave device is standing on its end. And so the light goes from top to bottom. Now, what you see in this white square is only the first section of the Lightwave device. The first section contains what's called the interferometer. The second section contains the spectrometer. And somehow, in this design, whilst I munchy, is we're going to incorporate the Slaringer device. I may actually even get into that. Well, I guess I'm done with my strudel. A strudel that decided to run away on me, but I caught him. Nothing gets by me. So if you look in the design, actually, no, that's the basic design. I mean, I'm not gonna go redraw this thing. So the slit is on the top. It goes through two mirrors because the mirrors have to line up the entry, I call the entry signal, to the center of the system. Now my computer is only, oh shit, I don't even know how tall it is. I think it's 15 inches. The length is approximately 15 inches. The height is approximately 15 inches, and the width is about 8 1/4, something like that. So the interferometer, it doesn't really show it here on this video, but wait, can I actually? No, you don't really see it there. Wait, you should see it here though. No, because it's not. But anyway, so the entry beam is the blue and yellow arrows. Wait just a minute, let me make sure. I'll just revitalize the screen here. Okay, so it does show up. You can see pretty good. The red and yellow arrows. The red and yellow arrows need to be centered. I don't know. Okay, so I don't know if the output of the interferometer. Oh shit! You know what? I just thought of something else too. The output of the interferometer is actually going to be on the left. So what happens is that the red and blue, they go through this beam splitter. One beam goes to the right, one beam goes straight out. The beam that goes straight out hits a mirror the same distance as the mirror that's located on the right, which is 7.5 inches. That's basically a stationary mirror, and that would be be in the center, which is fine. We can do that. Wait. Oh, let me think here. This is the top. Are we looking at this? We're looking at this from left. We're looking from the left into the cabinet. So the right beam is on the top. It goes to the beam splitter, and then it goes to the bottom. Yes, it goes to the bottom. The bottom mirror is the control sensitive focus mirror. And the one on the right is stationary at approximately, whatever its distance needs to be. The max of the case. Now, unfortunately, I was thinking about this earlier, and I was thinking, they got these other interferometers, they're like miles long, so they can measure gravitational waves. If the distance if it focuses into the interference patterns more because of distance, I don't know. We could make the length of the mirror shorter. We could go like half the distance. I don't know about that yet. We could do like half the distance, do the interferometer test, and then go the full distance. Do the same interferometer test and see if there's a change in the pattern. But I don't think there's going to be. I think it's because if you're using a laser, it doesn't really matter. So okay, so the top has the slit. The slit beam goes through a potential filter. I don't know if it goes through a lens. I don't really know what's happening between the slit and the mirror. So what I'm going to do is I'm designing the holder for the mirror, and then that's the first mirror on the right, and then the second mirror on the left. Now, okay, so then we've got 17. We got 7.5 on the top, on the right, 7.5 on the left, 7.5 on the bottom. So I've got 7.5 inches. I've got 7.5 inches from the beam splitter. So where's my pencil? My pen here. Did I lose it already? Me being Einstein and all. So let's go ahead. I've got you know what I could do? Actually, what I could do here. Let me just roll this up here a little bit. And then I will show you who's doing all of this. He's hidden. You can't see his head. By design. I'm just gonna drop this down here a little here. We're gonna put my lovely picture. We'll put it over here by the campsite. Yeah, this is where we're doing my. So I have a notepad. I'm a little bit unbekempt. Alright, so I've got a notepad, and we're going to go ahead and design the holder for the two mirrors. And I'm also going to write down the dimensions. So we've got the top of the case. The slit is going to be over towards the right. So what I could do is I could just make a little thing here. Like so. Let's see. The beam splitter, so like if I go, this is going to be looking, this is left, this is right, this is up, this is down. And the beam splitter is going to be centered in such a way that the first beam goes to the right, so that means the beam beam splitter is going to look like. Now, this is interesting. Let me do the light beam. It hits the mirror. It bounces off 45 degrees. Hits another mirror and comes down. And then the dimension, 7.5 inches. Now I got some room to play with, but you know, I'm thinking about something. Light is really strange. So in order to make light happy, we probably need as much symmetry as we can get. So if we go, actually let me make this an A. Oh shit, I fucked it up. Let me make this a 1 with a circle. And then we're gonna make this a 2 with a circle. And the distance D equals 1 to 2 equals 7.5 inches. So by going in at an angle, we can move the beam splitter back a little ways, which is a good, really, really good thing. So the beam splitter is here. This light's gonna go up here. This is 7.5 inches. This is 7.5. It's not drawn. You know. Oh shit. It's not drawn proportionally. I don't care about that. So this is 7.5. This one is 7.5 inches. So I'm thinking, going from, you really can't see it because I don't think you can see the arrow. Because that's on my stream and this is over here. You don't really see it. Going from the light source, which is the white diamond, up on top of the white box. From the light source to the first mirror. Okay, so that total distance has to be 7.5 inches. And let's go ahead and draw some lines and angles here. Now, I've already determined that the mirrors, the light beam is going to come in at 30 degrees. So that means if that angle is 30 degrees, we use the parallel. This angle, theta, equals 30. Now it's also the light source is going to be translational. So that means perpendicular to that lane of travel, it's going to be slightly translational. Why is that? Yeah, I have a reason for that. Well, that means if I translate that means I've got to translate the other mirror. If I translate this way, the other has to be translated. Yeah, shit, I don't know exactly. Let's just start with 30 degrees is going to be the basis. We've got a center. What if I made it 33.3, 33 point, what if I made it the Christ angle? Would that be? The Christ angle is actually employed in the Great Pyramid. You know, as a matter of fact, I'm going to look that up. I'm a little bit curious. Let's see. Christ angle in Great. This is an oddly strange coincidence. The Great Design. The true Christ angle refers to a specific geometric angle associated with the Great Pyramid of Giza, which proponents claim connects the pyramid's design to significant events in Christianity, particularly the birth and resurrection of Christ. The angle is part of a broader interpretation that suggests the pyramid encodes mathematical and spiritual truths related to Christ, etc., etc. The Great Pyramid, the Great Pyramid geometry is said to pinpoint Jesus Christ. Why would it? This predates Christianity. Where exactly? I don't need a religious text. I need scientific data here. What's this picture? I've got this one. Pillar of Enoch Ministry. I've read a little bit about Enoch and his business there. We're talking about Orion. There's some triangle stuff happening there. Here's the pyramid. Christ's angle formed in heavens on September 7, 2017. Okay, yeah, big deal. Let's see. You've got the west wall. You've got the grand chamber. The grand gallery. I've been inside the pyramid, by the way. So they're saying the Christ angle is 26 degrees, 18 minutes. That is really strange, too. Because he lived to be like 33 and a half, which is the opposite side of 30 degrees. Let me see if I can find another reference here. Okay, this page is dead. There's got to be something here. Saccades in the geometry of the Great Pyramid. Figure 2 shows the ascending passageway leading to the Grand Gallery, which is set to an angle of 26 degrees, 33 minutes, 54 seconds. This is simply the diagonal of a 2-to-1 rectangle, which is whatever it is. Expressed in second, this would equal 14 palms. The descending passageway leading to yada 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 yada. Astronomical alignment of the descending corridor. They talk about them being aligned to the stars, yada yada yada. Internal shifts King's Chamber, North Shaft 32, Queen's Chamber 32. So like, anyway, aside from that, I don't have to look at that. We're gonna go, we could go 30 degrees as a center. And then either way, like maybe 5 degrees or something like that. So, like I said before, the total distance we want is going to be 7.5 inches. And we're going to call that angle is going to be 30. Which, in this case over here, is going to be... That's 30, this is 60. What if I used the top over here? One, two, three. If we divide it, oh my God in heaven. If we divide it, the line's going to be divided in 3 sections, which is really crazy because dividing any number by 3 is just, well, 21 goes into 3. 7. If we use 7 inches. No, wait. We got 7 and a half. Let me get my trusty dusty calculator on my phone. My phone. Ah, my phone is dead. I need my phone charger thingy. Let's see here. And the only charger I have available is my USB port. Yep, we go. Come on, baby, get up in there. Yeah, let's. I like USB hubs because the one that I bought's got buttons on it. You can turn it on and off. So when you connect devices together, you can connect them without charging up the cable first. I saw a spark come off that damn cable when I'm connecting something one night, and boy, let me tell you, it scared the living shit out of me. It was that MIDI patch bay. I connected that when the computer was on, and I swear to God, I'd never seen a spark jump off a US cable before, but that time I did. So we got a max of 7.5 inches. Let's see what happens when we divide 7.5 divided by 3. We get 2.5. It actually works out even. But I don't think I have... I don't think I have 2.5. I don't think I have 7.5 inches. It's like 7.5 inches right up against the wall. Underneath, the bottom section is going to be raised up at 1/2 to an inch. So I'm going to lose some measurement. What about I can go 6 inches, and that would mean each section is 2 inches long. So the actual location, it probably doesn't really matter that much. It's just that one beam, the beam comes out, it has to be in the middle. So let's change this to 6. Let me draw another diagram here, because this one's getting a little bit messy. So we got here. Here. Alright, so we got the center of the beam. It's going to be here. The beam splitter. This will go up to here. I'll just put an arrow. And then this will go down to here. And this will go over to here. This is 6 inches. From the light source, the point of the light source. So that means first mirror has to be here. I have to figure out this angle here. So if this comes in from here, like so, this is 30 degrees. That means this is 30. That means this angle is 60. So I bring this down here. We've got 60 degrees. We know that that distance is going to be 2 inches from the light source to the first mirror. Now, in order for that has to be perpendicular. Oh shit, I draw this fucking wrong. That's perpendicular. This length here is going to be 2 inches. And this length here, 2 inches. So, let me draw this one again. Now the entry point doesn't have to be, I mean it probably could be centered. I mean on the slit here. So this is 30. This is a right angle. 30. And then this one is a right angle. That's 30. This has to be 60. And we know this distance, but I'm not 100% sure of that angle yet. So this entire distance is 2 inches. Wait, and this has to be 2 inches. So we get 2, 4, 6. This is 30. If we used 1 inch for the hypotenuse with a 60-degree angle, we've got C equals square root of A squared plus B squared. We know that C equals 1. See, what I'm trying to calculate is the distance between where the center of the, I can show you this here, I think. Don't know if you can see this. We'll try to bring this up here. So you can see the beam entry point. Let me put a circle on the top here. Oh, it's actually a diamond. So the diamond is the source. The source comes in at an angle of 30 degrees. And there's a reason for that I discovered. Nobody, I'm going to say it right now, right here and now, nobody, and I'm talking about even since the beginning of when they discovered this, did the slit experiment and used it to, I shouldn't even say nothing. Fuck it, I'm not going to say nothing. So anyway, we got the 30 degrees coming in. Coming out on the other side is going to be 30. That's the opposite. That's a basic trig rule. So underneath of that's going to be 60 degrees. The length of the hypotenuse, for example, is probably 1 inch. Good God Almighty! I think I need a ruler. what? 1 inch? Let me think about this for a minute. That's not a lot of room. That is not a lot of room for the point source. Shit. How much translational room will I have from the point source? If this is 1, if the point source... Well, the point source is going to be small by design. That's going to be a right angle here. This is going to equal 1. That's that damn that base. Area equals 1. Something equals L equals 1/2 the base times the height. But that distance is only 1 inch. Can I put a point source 1 inch from the slit? I gotta visualize this. It's like there's not a lot of room there. And then it's 1 inch leaving the slit. What if I move the mirror up? It doesn't matter. So another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to, as soon as the light comes out of the light source, which is this diamond right here, as soon as that light leaves where that dark line is, that's going to be like a slit or a pinhole or whatever the hell it's going to be. I mean, I've already got a slit down here. I'll show you. I'll kind of rub this in here. So the actual slit is going to be on the top of the case, which is that horizontal line that you see. The distance. Yeah, but I gotta be able to move that mirror. That gives me 2 inches. I gotta get a ruler. I gotta find a ruler and visualize this because the music is nice to listen to, but if you can't build it, they won't show up. You know what I'm saying there, sonny boy? 2 inches? What the hell? When I did the experiment, I'd have to go back and look at that video. I don't think it was as close as 1 inch, but I think it'll work. Or the distance between the entry point and this is, I'm a little bit concerned about this. In fact, I'm very concerned about this. Now my mirrors are small. The beam splitter, I don't know how big the beam splitter is. I had an aluminum disc. When I translate down, that other mirror is going to translate up. That's got to be a small ass mirror. Something. I got another idea that I'm gonna have to do, because so certain things happen, and then certain things, you know, you gotta make an adjustment somewhere. You gotta compensate, because nothing in this life is perfect. So instead of what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna attempt to make this 2 inches here. This is going to be 2 inches. This would have to be 4 inches. And this would have to be 2 inches, I guess. I don't know how. Let me just go ahead and let's see. I've got another little thing here. Let's try this one right here. Oops, that's the same one. Anyway, what I'm going to show you, I'm going to jump ahead here. So, we're going to really expand the slit part opening here. Let's put it over here. This is the slit. The light comes in here. About this when I was getting the parts at the store. Oh shit. or am I? Am I going to have a problem with this? Damn. Okay, alright, this is 30, this is 60 degrees. This is the top of the case. Because it has to do with the two mirrors part of the interferometer. If I have the beam coming in, at the entry point, the detector is going to end up on the bottom if I have the beam coming in from left to right. If I go in from top to bottom, top to bottom, so this is top, this is bottom, this is supposed to be, we're looking, goes in here, and we've got this, we've got a mirror here. Oh, was the beam splitter going to be upside down? Shit. How do I get... I need to get... See, if I come in from the left... Yeah, it's gotta be... Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I know what I did wrong. This is the bottom, but this is the one case. The spectrum analyzer, the spectrum, whatever the hell that fucking thing is, it's on the right. It's on the bottom. It's not on the bottom. It's on the right. So that means this is the detector. And the bottom mirror, so that means the beam splitter has to be, normally, let's see, this is normal. This is upside down. So the normal beam splitter looks like this. And it goes up this way and down this way. Now if I want, and the entry point is in the diagonal. If I change the diagonal, if I rotate the diagonal left, right, this is the normal way. The detector is here. Now this is the detector. Should write that down better. This is shit, I'm telling you. Alright, so the detector is here. Straight through to the detector. If it's normal, it comes off the mirror into the detector. This diagram is not right. Damn it! What the fuck? Let's do it again. Okay, so we've got. Might be a mirror image. I don't know what the frick it is. Right, so here, got this. This is the mirror side. Which is M. This is a mirror side, which is M. And this is the detector side. So if I rotate this, diagonal is this way. The detector has to be over here. Oh, why the hell did I just do that? Just do it down here. But that looks like shit too, doesn't it? I can't do anything right here. Let's see here, like so. This is the beam. Now we've got here, mirror, here, mirror, here, detector. So my first setup was going to be, oh my effing god, you've got to be shitting me here. That's rotating it counterclockwise. What I did was I rotated it clockwise. If I rotate this clockwise, the detector is going to be, oh no, oh no, oh my freaking god. That puts the entry. That puts the input, the light side on the right, and the spectrometer on the left. That's what it does. Can I do that? Yes, I can do that because I can just mirror image my setup. So, okay, so what we've got here is instead of, so we got is the dark side of the moon. This is the dark. Oh my god. I learn things as I go along. Alright, so the beam splitter is at the top, like it's supposed to be, but it's further down the road. The beam splitter is rotated clockwise. This is left. No, this is right. This is left. This is top. This is bottom. Wow, this is. I mean, in one sense, if you look at it from one side, what the fuck? The signal is going from right to left. So why can't I? Yeah, but if I look on the other side, It's going from left to right. What the hell? This is so convoluted, it's not funny. So the beam splitter the right triangle is on the left. Right triangle, the long side. Well, actually, it's an isosceles triangle, I think. So if we do this, and this, and this over here. Here's the detector. D. This is the entry point. I'll just draw the slit here on the diamond. I'm doing something effed up here because it doesn't look right. How the hell does a beam splitter send that? Oh, it reflects off that mirror. Oh, okay. Okay. I can still build it the way I want. It's just that the orientation is so weird. But if I turn this around, I'm looking at it from right to left. This is so effed up. But if I turn it around, if I do, it's not a mirror image, it's still going from left to right. Oh my God, now. I don't understand this. Why can't I put this over here? It still goes from the center. If I do, it's left to right though. This is right to left. If I move the beam splitter over here and come down, no. What the hell? Oh wait. Damn it. This right and left is freaking my head up big time. Oh my God. I can't see it. Why can't I see this? Let me draw another set of boxes down here. I've got to see this from left to right because if I don't, I'm gonna get all screwed up. Now if I mirror this, if this is left, if I flip this around, if I flip this around, it's going to go left to right. Is it the orientation of the beam splitter? No, the beam goes in that direction. But if I put it on the other side with that orientation, no, it's a different orientation. Okay, so that means the right triangle is on this side. Oh my God, it's the same damn setup. But that's not true. Oh no, I made a mistake here. No, because the detector's on the bottom. Shit. Oh, this is not right. Normally it looks like this. The detector's on the bottom. Detector has to be on a side. So if this is like this, I gotta really exaggerate this because this is driving me up a freaking wall. Oh shit, I did it wrong again. If I do it like this, draw a line, and then do this. The detector is here. shit. The entry point comes in from the bottom, but I can't have it on the bottom. It needs to be on the top. If I use the same triangle, make the entry point come in from the top. Oh, wait. If I use the same triangle, make the entry point come from here. Call this the EP. This side is a mirror. This side is definitely a mirror. This side is a detector. Oh, so all I'm doing is moving the entry point. I'm moving the entry point. Okay, this is just rip this page right out. Goodbye. So, going back from left to right again. Thank heavens. Let's make a box here, a box here, and a box here, a box here, and a box here. Yeah, but didn't I have the entry point coming from the top? The beam splitter is going to be here. Yeah. I just wasn't thinking right. This is a mirror. This is a mirror. This is the EP. And that's the detector. So, like, I sat here for half an hour or more, and it's exactly the same setup. It's just that the orientation of the entry point changes 90 degrees. It still comes in on that hypotenuse, but instead of, so now it reflects to the left, which is the front. Okay, this is left. So I can use the same setup. I just have to orient the what is it, beam splitter? BS, not bullshit. Alright, so that's going to be like this, and like that, and like that, right there. So the arrow, and I'll show you this. So the arrow down at the bottom, the triangle at the bottom, comes down like that. If you look at the whole setup, you can see that when the entry point comes in from the top, the mirror, the first mirror, is going to be where the door is, which is on the left. We're back to the left and right system, which is what I originally designed. But I wasn't sure about the orientation of the beam splitter. Now I know. Now I know. Because that first beam goes straight through, hits the mirror, and bounces back into the detector. The second beam reflects off the front, goes to the door, and goes back through to the detector. And the detector is in the spectrum analysis section over here. Now, I don't know about that distance yet. I haven't really calculated it, I haven't figured that out. So I'm going to put a check mark on this. And then I'm going to go back. I want to show you. So now we're back to the mirror. We're back to the mirror setup here. So this is like one. We got that set up. So then that's going to be in the center. So we do the box thing again. And I'm guessing that the slit's going to be somewhat shifted to the right. And this is the door. And then I'll just put a slight indentation here. put the detector where I want it. So, we've got the light beam coming in 30 degrees over here. We've got our first mirror. Why the hell did I even do that? Now we go over here, and we've got another mirror here. These are at 30 degrees. So the plane of orientation, we know that's 30, we know this is 30. So now the question is about moving these mirrors. So if I put another thing here, and then we're going to put an arrow. So now it just seems to me that if I'm translational with the point source, that this first mirror must be translational. It has to be translational, and it also has to be on the z-axis here. So that means inside in the center of the case, or actually from the detector end. I don't know how far this is going to go from the detector end. If I move the slit closer to the back, yeah, but still. If I do, let's see, if I do 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, if I do 12 inches, and I've got 6. 6 and 6 is 12. 6.5. I can't do 17. It's just not enough room. I mean 15. That sucks. I could do 7. 7 inches. I don't know. 7's a weird number. Let's put 7 inches just for hell of it here. So then that, okay, so what I could do then, all right, so this is going to be 1, and this will be 2. D equals 1 to 2 equals 14 inches. 14 inches. I've got a short end and 2 long ends. There's no other way. Okay, so this is my design so far. This is the internal design. So we've got the slit on the top, and forget that part first. So the beam splitter is in the middle. We're going from left to right again. The source comes from the top, goes to the beam splitter. The second mirror, or the first mirror, is through the beam splitter on the bottom. The second mirror is on the left, which is connected to the door. That is easy to do. That is easy. The adjusting mirror is going to be the one on the door and the one on the top. That's going to be translational. Well, anyway, the point is to get the detection signal to come out on the right-hand side, which is where the spectrum analyzer section is located. And then if I look one of my other setups, if I look at the translucent setup, the detector is on the bottom. This comes up on the top. I think the test object's on the bottom. It's mirror 1. It's the straight through mirror. Yeah. So that means the test object is on the bottom. Yes. Test object area. That's really going to be good because I have a drawer on the bottom that slides in and out. I can put the mirror and the test setup and everything on that bottom section. Oh my god, that's going to be so good. Okay, so it's going to be on the straight through section. That's the test object. That's what I have here. Just cross this out here and go back here. So the test section is going to be down on the bottom. You can't really see my arrow. So I got my orientations. Yeah, so what this looks like is the orientation of the test area is down on the bottom from the beam splitter to the bottom of the sliding plate, which is perfect. It's so perfect it's not funny. And the detector, as I said, goes out to the right. So then on the top you see the point source going through the slit, going to the first mirror near where my finger is, bouncing off that first mirror to the second mirror and into the beam splitter. The reason for this has to do with the slit. And you can take your garbage and shove it where the sun don't shine. And since you don't know how to do that, I'm going to show you. So, now that we've got that figured out, we've got two mirrors that we need to do something with. We've got a beam splitter that needs to be held in place without interfering with the setup, and that should be able to be accomplished. Like the beam splitter, like if I go to the next page here, and if we do something here. Something here. Now this can't go down. Let's do go this way. And what that will do, so this is the beam splitter holder. What time is it? This is the bottom. So this is like, this could be like, I'm just gonna put like a tube in here right now, just to get the idea of my locations. And then down in here, so this is the beam splitter, and the beam splitter's on the left, and the holder is right angles to the beam splitter. It comes out a little ways. It's exaggerated. It goes from left to right to another holder set, and so on and so forth. Because the beam itself comes out, it comes out this end here. It comes out this end and goes straight across. So you can't have anything in between these two sections because the light beam goes through there. Or wait. No. I don't need that. I can go right to the wall. I don't need this. That's even better. So I'll use a wall-to-wall section in order to hold a beam splitter. I'll have on both sides. How the hell I'm going to do that, I don't know, but that's the idea. Okay, so that solves that problem. Now we've got our mirrors. So we've got this big section here. And I don't know about the actual locations yet. We have a total, let's see, D equals 1 to 2 equals 14 inches. Beam splitter to mirrors equals 7 inches. So I've got to get go from here. This is going to be center. The beam splitter is going to be centered. Is that going to be centered? Yes. So that means from here to here, 7 inches. That's the beam splitter. Just keep redrawing this shit all the time. Right, so now if I put this here, and this I put this arrow for translation, it seems to me that this bottom one that's a tuning. Alright, so if this one, if the first mirror, so now we're talking about the mirrors that's on the box up there. There's the diamond is the point source. The first mirror is on the right, the second mirror is on the left, and the beam splitter is down towards the middle of the box. So if the first mirror goes from left, if it goes from bottom to upwards, that means the point source goes from up to down laterally and perpendicularly. That means the second mirror follows suit with the first. So when this translates, now what about the distance? If the distance remains the same between the two mirrors, and this translates down, that's going to move, that's going to cause a problem for the beam splitter. I can't move the beam splitter. I can't move the beam splitter. Now how am I going to do that? Use a large mirror. No. If I rotate it, that second mirror. That second mirror has to be stationary. I can't move the second mirror. This goes up, that goes up. Oh, this is an interesting optics problem, isn't it? We gotta go to that optics program to solve this problem. Because I want to be able to translate that mirror. Or do I mean, I could say, okay, I'm not going to do any translation and just go with what I got. Or I can find the right angle. But these two have to be the same. No, if I move this one down, let's see if I move this down, this goes up. If this goes up, it has to go back in order to... What if I translate rotationally? I got two ways to do this. I can translate laterally or I can translate rotationally. If I do a rotational translation, no, that's going to change the angle of the mirror. I don't want to do that. I definitely don't. You can't do that. It's got to be right. Those two mirror, the mirror, the first mirror to the point source has got to be 90 degrees. End of story. So if this goes down here, and this mirror ends up here. No, wait, what am I doing? Oh, that's not what happens. Because what happens is that when you go down with the point source, the mirror has to go up because it reflects off of that slit. That's what's happening. Okay, that's a known fact. Okay, so this goes down and this goes up. So now what we've got is we've got two mirrors that are misaligned. They are right angles to each other. But they're misaligned from the beam splitter. So I have to keep this angle. Oh, yes, no, yes, wait. Yes, right here. Yes, it works. it frickin' works. All I have to do, oh wait, no, hold my fort. This mirror here goes up and down. This mirror translates like this. Oh yeah, baby. I gotta figure it out. So those two mirrors are in tandem. The first and the second mirror are in tandem with each other. Oh no, they're not. Because the second mirror translates diagonally. The first mirror translates diagonally. The second mirror translates up and down. Shit, that's two different translations. Oh my God in heaven. I'm gonna need numbers. I'm gonna need trigonometric numbers for the amount of translation for each of the two mirrors. So, I'll show you what I got here. This is some cool shit, I'm telling you. So, alright. Where the fuck is that point source? Forget, you know, my slit is right here. It's a little bit big, okay? But forget that. So, starting from the beginning, the point source goes down to the first mirror, down at the bottom, bounces off, goes into the second mirror, and down into the beam splitter. If I translate the point source from top to bottom, laterally, like this first mirror translates laterally upwards, like this, laterally, diagonally. In order for it to hit the beam splitter, the second mirror has to go up the same amount that the first mirror goes up diagonally. So that's problem solved. So there has to be a way to adjust, you know, I've got to be able, okay, so I can probably, if I set this whole thing on one board, one piece of metal or whatever, no, that's not going to work. It needs to be done. Alright, the beam splitter's in the middle. And the translational changes have to be done with one screw. In this case, on the beam splitter side, the mirror section is going to be okay. So if I drew the mirror, let's see, if I drew a plane of the mirror, how the hell do I do that? So this is the plane of the mirror. I can have an attachment here, and I can go. I have the up and down is good. This is going to have to be on some kind of a swivel. This bracket. So if I do like so. This is a bracket so that this mirror goes like this. Then we've got this. So I've got my up and down. I can have a device control this. I'm trying to limit the number of holes in the case itself. No, it's got to be in that case. That's the fine tuning. No. They're both fine tuning. Jesus. Then I've got to have a translational. No, actually the translational doesn't really have to be quite that perfect, I don't think. I can put the mirrors in. It's only 2 mirrors, and I can line the beam splitter up with the 2 mirrors. So I've got this. How do if I put this in the center, how do I know that it's exactly the center? I can put the bottom plate on. So that's going to be a procedure. No. Yeah, bottom plate. Like this is going to be sort of like this. Laser. Call it laser preset. Without the beam splitter. Without beam splitter. To center. Beam splitter. I can use that to determine the place to drill the hole for the second mirror. Somehow there's got to be an adjustment. And mind you, this whole setup, I wanted to have a vacuum to take the air out. And it's not going to be much, but it'll be something. So the second mirror is not going to be a problem because that just goes up and down. That first mirror, that's going to be a B, you know what? Yeah, I don't know how I'm going to do that yet. All right, let's go. The first mirror has to go laterally. Now I could put in a screw at an angle. These first two mirrors are going to be close to the top. I think that's a good thing. They're going to be close to the top of the case. Let's make a note of that here. Mirrors close to top. But that second mirror is going to move laterally. The mirror would have to have how would I design that? So the first one, or the second mirror, I've got kind of drawn right there where there's a screw that goes up and down on that mirror to get the beam going into the beam splitter. I don't know if that's going to have to be sensitive or not. I don't know how sensitive these two mirrors need to be. I think you can set these two mirrors close, and then you make the final adjustment with the mirror on the door, or whatever, one of them two mirrors, okay? Because the only beams that make a difference are mirror number 1 and mirror number 2, which is after the beam splitter. I don't know about the mirror going in. What if the mirror going in What if when you bounce off a mirror, when the photons collect information, the information's throughout the same throughout the system. wonder if the entry point mirror, which is the top mirror on the top, could be considered, if I could set that to 6 inches or 7 inches. No, because I gotta be able to move that up and down, right? I could move it. So if I move that translationally, it's going to change that distance. And it should change that distance plus or minus around the 7 inches. If that changes the focus. I want to be able to do a radical change on the entry point. I want to be able to do a large change. So if it starts at the top, it's 7. And that only gives me half an inch. Top mirror has to move. I just hope to God I don't have to move the other mirrors. We could do the test on that. So I've got the up and down, I've got the rotation of the second mirror. The first mirror has to go laterally, and if I use, the only way to do that is to have one screw coming in at an angle. That's doable. I mean, the top of the case is like flat, okay? It's like really thin. But if I come in at an angle with the what the hell do I call it? That center insulator thing. There's nothing in there that can be hot glued. It's got to be like using rubber or some other material that will collapse in on itself when air is vacuumed out of the system. The one at the top should be easy. Oh shit. Oh, so you know the slit's got to have a window. I've got a microwave. I got a microwave set up there, but that's really big. That has a window in it for microwaves, but it probably won't pass the light. The first slit has a mirror. I mean, if it has a window, that window's got to be super freaking clear, and it's got to be set up big. It can't be a refractive window. It's got to be set up. So actually, okay, so that's another design consideration, huh? If I want to do a vacuum, I can't use. That's got to be sealed. Wait, okay, so my other idea was to enclose the light source. So if I make a box, I've got a box. And I want to move the box laterally. If I want to leave that open. If this was air, if this was sealed, it's still going to be the point source is going to be open. It's going to be an open space. Or I can put the light inside. If I put the light inside the box and seal that with clamps with a screw, how would I get the light inside the box, the electronics? It would just be a set of wires. So I would have, but that's got to be able to slide. It's got to have a slide on it, though. I mean, I could pull a vacuum. I could pull a slight vacuum. But I've got to have a way to hold. So if I have, it slides up and down. Yeah, it slides up and down. So that means around the page. So this is metal. I'm assuming there's going to be another slit here. This will be, so this is going to contain a box. It's going to look like this. And the box will have a slit in it here. Say, just for kicks and grins, this is the wire entry point, and this is the light source. It just so happens that I've got a couple of boxes. I was actually wanting to completely seal the light section, or if I had, I've got screws. I've got a plate. Plate sealer, and then I'm just going to put a hole on the other side. Vacuum. Electronics. But how am I going to totally vacuum seal the light entry point? I want to do that. I don't want to use a window. So light has to go from the top, or it source on one end and put a slit there. I don't think that's covered. I have the plates in the wrong place or something. It's in the bottom. But that's gonna slide at a 30-degree angle. And it's not going to be lined up correctly. It's going to be off-centered. But that's okay. The problem is being able to go from the vacuum source into the chamber. And the only way to do that is put some kind of a glass section in there to seal that off. In order to vacuum. I want the light, what I want is a high vacuum inside the light source. I want that going to destroy the light. I want to speed up the light inside the light source. I want to accelerate the light as much as I can. Maybe it doesn't have to be two sections. Maybe it can be one section that screws on the top. It's one piece that it comes in at the angle, and then I gotta be able to slide it up and down and then lock it in place. Where's the vacuum going to be? The glass would have to be on the other side of the slit. That slit could be smaller. Is that the razor plates? It's kind of like a coarse setting. So I would have to have, if I have a box, and I have a glass. It's gonna be here though. Glass. Glass and box under top. So I'll have to do some tests running laser light through glass. We can simulate that on that thing too. I'm gonna go over there. And that's going to be flush metal. I'm gonna have the razor blades set up. Yeah, I'm not really showing that very well. So, what we gotta have is if we look at where my finger is, we have this box that has the light source. It contains the light source. The light source is the box on the bottom. If you look at the box in the middle, we've got this thick metal box that has a light source in it. And I happen to have two boxes. That box source needs to translate up and down. It's going to translate up and down at an angle, and the light's going to go through the slit. Wait a minute, let me think about this. That isn't right. I got the orientation wrong. The orientation is not correct. So, I gotta think about this. Oh shit. So if the bottom is here, wait. Oh shit. This is the slit here. On the bottom. How did I do that? If the slit is this way. If I do it, okay, so if I change the slit orientation, it's either that way, if the orientation is this way, has to be on the other side. You can't see this very well. Okay, so here's a problem. So the problem is that in the current setup, the slits lined up and down. So when the box goes up and down, the slit orientation is incorrect and it's not going to move the slit. So what has to happen is that the box orientation needs to be changed so that when the box is moved, here the slit is on the top, it's perpendicular to the top of the box. So now I can move the box up and down on the left at that angle and it will work. Slit orientation has to change. If I do it aligned with the box, the orientation of the slider has to be on the same side as the side of the slit. So what this does is it asks a question. You've got this slit you've got a mirror, and you've got another mirror, and you've got a beam splitter. And the beam splitter we say it doesn't really look that way. So the beam splitter looks like this. It's that shows a 30-60-degree triangle, but it's actually a 45-degree triangle, okay? And you've got a signal going into the beam splitter. Now the question is, when the output is going to be on the left, the detector, and you've got this box, and you've got your light beams like this. So there's your detector, there's your light beams that are up and down, okay? So we could put, this is like red, and this is blue, okay? So that means that slit has to go back and forth like this, coming out of the beam splitter. So if the slit is like this, if it comes back from the mirror is over here. So we can see the orientation of the slit bouncing off the mirror on the left, going through the beam splitter and out to the detector in the appropriate orientation. Now, in order for it to be reflected that way, that orientation has got to be, I didn't draw it very good. It's got to be like that. It's got to be flat. So this is the first mirror. Meaning, if I put another box up here like this, and if I do it like this, okay, this is wrong. The orientation has to be like this. So the orientation, that tells me the orientation of the slit. If you look over here and you do it sideways and it goes down to the beam splitter, it's in the wrong orientation. So that means it's got to be in this orientation here. So we translate this back over to the other mirror. And when that's bounced off through the slit, that tells me that the orientation of the slit has to be lengthwise. Okay. So that means we got to have slider has to be sideways. So this is the slider on the left. So originally I had it like, you can't really see this stupid picture. Originally, you could see the slits here. This is the original, and the slider is at a 30-degree angle on the left, going up and down. Why couldn't I go left to right? it's just not jiving. If you put the slider in the back on the back, which is on the left of the slit, and then you go up and down. It sends the light in the wrong direction now. But that's not how I want to change that. That's going up and down. So in order to do that, the orientation has to change. I can't change the orientation of the beam splitter. No way. It's gotta be lengthwise. So the only way to do that is to put that slider on the left. And if I go up and down, I gotta go back to my original drawing. That's gonna change the orientation of the mirrors. Music's driving me up a yin yang. If this goes left, that means the orientation of the mirror is going to change. Oh, wait a minute now. What do you think about this? I think it's correct. I think it'll work. I just have the video is paused, yes. I'm not listening to that. Let's see, what's this one sound like here? This goes this way. The slit is going to move left and right laterally across the side of the computer. That puts the orientation of the mirrors wrong. That's going to move the first mirror laterally across the top of the screen. So M1 is going to go, if we have the box, if we have the square here, we have the mirror. Laterally in that direction, what is it going to do to the other mirror? light source. The mirror moves out. That's causing the other mirror to move out and away from the beam splitter, which before I had it moving up and down. I've got to go from this direction to this direction. Use matrices to translate this stuff. See, that other program doesn't do 3 dimensions. I use the third mirror and bounce the signal back. What if I change? If I change the slit the other direction. If I change the slit in the other direction, it goes the way I want, but the orientation of the beam splitter will be incorrect. Let's see. Got a beam splitter like this. Got a slit that's this way. Now if I have a slit that is this way, oh, I can't do it. What if I could solve it in that program? This ought to be interestingly fun, huh? Let's go ahead and get rid of this. And we're going to go to the program. Which is prepare to be amazed. Thank God for this program because where did it go? Oops, that's not the right. Shit, what the hell is it? Alright, so there's this, and then we're gonna look for Firefox here. Okay, we have to adjust that probably. It's no big deal, I don't think. Why can't Something got moved. Okay, let's put this over here, out of the way. So the problem we gotta solve is this translational stuff. So we're gonna have, let's do a beam for a light source. The light source will be up here. Draw some mirrors over here. So this, yeah, I don't know if I can simulate this, because it doesn't show up as a three-dimensional setup. This is interesting. This is interesting. That has to be 60 degrees. Well, if this is 60, these coming down. Like this needs to be at a certain angle here. And so whatever this angle is here, I've got CDs and DVDs I could use. Oh my fucking god, with these fucking morons. Wait, is that on, what the hell is going on here? What am I looking at here? I got these backwards. Bear with me for a minute, I gotta do some stupid shit here. Won't take long. But something didn't happen though. Okay. It got deleted. He just got banned. It took a while to get there. So now what I need to do is we're going to add another point source. No, get rid of that. That didn't work either. This will be at the blue end of the spectrum. This one is at 0.3, what the fuck did I do? Where the damn number? Oh, here it is. Oh, God in heaven, what the hell is going on here all of a sudden? Yeah, something's a little messed up with the program. Let me add a beam light source again. Okay, so we use red and green. So now you can see when you go through the diffraction grading what happens to the colors. The colors don't jive up evenly, okay? They spread across the spectrum. So now you can see there's a spread here. And what I did to solve that was put a lens in there. You gotta put a lens in. Instead of doing that, I put a circle in. I may have to use the lens. Yeah, let's, oh, shit. Oh, shit, don't do that. I just put 2 in there. So you put a lens in. See, now I can't put it in at an angle. That's why it doesn't let me. Oh, wait a minute. Yes, it does. At the very beginning. When you... Oh, I didn't know that. I don't think I can turn it though. Alright, now we can bring the mirror over and we can grab these focus points. So you can actually go like this. Once you set that orientation, you can't do anything with it anymore, but I didn't know you could do that before. That's pretty cool. Set this up first, and then make this a little bigger, maybe. Maybe those are the focal points up there. I don't really know. See, I don't know how to move. No, I think they even have a beam splitter in here. Now I wonder. Okay, well, I guess it doesn't matter. They just use that. So it's like a two-way mirror. But there's some weird shit happening here. Yeah, the reflectivity of... Yeah, that one beam is reflecting back off and it's causing an issue. I don't like to use this system at all. Okay, it just seems like I don't have to use these lenses. But look what happens with the color. It spreads everything out, and you need the lens. That one green beam is fucked up over there, you know. I don't know why, but it is. I think that's that weird beam over here on the end. This should be like 45 degrees. I just don't like this at all. This is so fucked up. You see the red? The red's like going straight through, and the green is causing more aberration. This is a separate problem in and of itself, but I don't know what the fuck is going on. It's because this red and the green are not focused here. Shut up, what's it doing that? This is really not where I wanted to be. So anyway, let's get back to what I was doing. Assuming the grating acts like a slit. If I move the grating, you could probably see this better actually. If I just manage to move this right all together. So if I move the grating laterally, it doesn't change the orientation. It's gotta be somebody I know, and I'm too busy right now. I know this. I can't simulate this crap on here. I just dropped my pen. You know what I'm gonna do? I need to just pause that shit because that's getting annoying. Oh shit, my phone just died. How the hell could the phone die? It's plugged in. I have no fucking idea. Good. Nobody's gonna bother me anyway. It's been sitting there doing nothing, not charging at all. I don't know if I can get my I can't reach my pen. Come on, I'm gonna back up. So we're back to square one with this stupid shit because this is not gonna solve my problem. Let me bring this back over here. This is off. This is me. And we were looking at something. We weren't looking at paint. I could look at that dude. I don't know where the picture is now. What is the picture? Window? So we're back to moving this. If I move this, in order to move this slit to keep this positioned, if this goes down, this goes left and right across the side of the screen instead of back and forth. So if this is a mirror, this slit's going to move back and forth. I want to be able to move the slit number one. I want to be able to move the light source. And that effectively, because that's a slit, it effectively moves the bandwidth of the entire Lightwave back and forth across the spectrum. Maybe that's okay. Maybe that's okay if I use a mirror that's, oh my god. The beam splitter that I got is like ridiculously small. No, that's the prism. I'm not opening those up. I don't know what they look like. I think if I have this mirror, I think the mirrors actually stay stationary. You know what? I think the mirrors stay stationary. And the mirrors are bigger than the slit, but what if it moves out of position? If I move this to the left, if I move it to the left, I could rotate the mirror. Let's see if it comes over here. If I rotate the mirror, I can rotate the mirror back onto the beam splitter. If I move it to the left, I'll move this one to the left. And I'll rotate this one. What if this is, let's say if this is over here, there's no rotation. This brings it back into view. Now this is slid over, so then this one has to rotate then. In order to bring the beam back onto the beam splitter. All right, but this is at number one. It's going to be in the center of the computer. Number two, if I put a rod all the way across the computer, I've got those. But they are going to be way too sensitive. I've got the gears to translate. So if I use if I screw this in back and forth, it's going to, this has to be it has to be, I want to be able to move this up and down too. Let's put, this is a mechanical fucking nightmare. So that one's got to go back and forth, up and down. It does not have to go up and down that way. It has to follow the trace in that direction, in that direction. So there's only two directions. The sensitive direction is the turn. How in the holy hell am I going to do that? Like, I could do like one screw, but I gotta be able to get in there. See, the other option of doing that is it would be to put a motor in there. I don't want to put a motor in there. I bought these little 440 screws. I had the idea of putting it on a hinge. And with a spring attachment. That would be for like rotation. And leave that on a block. And then this goes through here to move it laterally. question is, how can I move it laterally? How can I move it laterally and back and forth at the same time? Wow. Unless if I just don't bother with it and go with the 30 degrees. And I don't know. All I know is I'm getting tired. Yeah. Shit. What's the most important one? The only way to do this is to use a motor for one of the axes, because the wires you can run back through the system. What about an electromagnet? An electromagnet would be quiet. There's still a problem, because even if I use an electromagnet, let's say, to control the angle of the mirror, we're talking about the first mirror, then I need to move it back and forth as well as sideways. Oh, wait. If I had a system of 2 springs, I can't control the back and forth, because the back and forth is going to go to the center of. What the fuck? Okay, so if I have a plate that moves, this moves independently of its base. And then this would have to have like a guide thing here. Another electromagnet here. Alright, so what I got is I've got a device on the top. Well, okay, so if you look on the very top here where my finger is, there's a spring on the top of where the mirror is being held and an electromagnet on the back of the mirror that controls the position of the mirror at the angle. Down here, you have another electromagnet that's on the left. That pulls the base where the mirror is attached to laterally with where that spring is. The entire section is set on another bracket which has the back and forth movement on it. So it'd be like this, and maybe like it goes through here, down at the bottom. So it kind of looks like this. So you've got the mounting hardware on the top, and then you've got the one back and forth screw, which is that's going to be lined up with, it's going to be lined up in the middle with that box. Shit. Okay, so that needs to be put, because the mirror is going to cut across that long screw that goes down through there. So it would have to be like on the side. So the back and forth part's going to be on the side. That will have some kind of mounting hardware underneath to keep that flat. Somehow, I have no idea. The second mirror, I'm thinking the second mirror is going to do, no, it's not actually. The second mirror is going to have that mirror beam comes in from this way. Oops, wait a minute, that's not right. We've got this. The spring is going to move this mirror back and forth here, so this would probably be electromagnets on the top. It pulls the mirror back and forth this way. This is going to go this way on a bracket here. And it also, the mirror also has to translate in the other direction. Meaning like this. And like this. So if this has a roller, to go that way, and the screw has to have another roller that goes this way. That second mirror is going to be a bitch to make. It's got to go this way, and it has to go that way, and then this whole block has to go back and forth. And then you've got to make a holder for the mirrors. This is starting to become a nightmare. Is it 12 or is it 1? God, I hope it's not 1 o'clock. Oh God, it is. Figures. That's mirror 2. So spaces are on top. Slot for the mirror on the bottom. This is, I'm not going to make this much more complicated, I'm telling you that right now. So that takes care of the orientation of the mirrors, to be able to slide them back and forth across that grating slit. and connecting them to the side of the unit. We got the lenses. What am I thinking? Oh yeah, the distance. I don't know where the hell that was back here. We're giving ourselves 14 inches. Seven inches to the sides, 14 inches from the slit down through here. Let's see. Let me go to this next picture. So, I don't know if the grading, we gotta do a test and peel off the back of the DVD or CD, run that through the grading and see if, and then underneath is the razor blade setup. See, that would make the diffraction grading curves the if I put it flat up against there. Yeah, that's a bunch of shit there, ain't it? Let's see. So if I put the DVD on the bottom of the slit, I can use that. I can theoretically make that setup and connect a vacuum to that, and that should give me a good vacuum on the top. And then once it goes into the cabinet, it's just going to be, the cabinet's going to be evacuated somewhat, but it's not going to have a lot. I could put bracers up for it. Then it goes to the razor blade slit section. Something's not right here. After the slit section, it hits the first mirror. So, we got the mirrors figured out. And now what's left is this distance thing. I think the mirror is at 7 inches. So I've got 14 inches. This is 2. This is 1. D equals 1 to 2. 14 inches total. If that's 7 inches, that leaves me 7 inches from there to the source. Okay, what if I just put, let's see if I put the mirror here. We could use this as a 1 inch or 2 inches. This could be 5 inches. And that gives me 2.5 inches. So my thinking, okay, there's a couple of things that I'm going to mention. Number one, it is my belief and my discovery that the slit acts like a magnifying glass. It's the only time I'm going to say it. Number two, the orientation of the slit that I'm going to use is such that the slit is very sharp. In other words, the reflection or the reception of the signal coming out of the slit is extremely sharp. I noticed that all these people, every single experiment done with this slit experiment, has done it with the light source perpendicular to the slit opening. We're not doing that. We're coming in at a 30-degree angle. And then we are going to reflect that off the first mirror. The first mirror is going to bounce the signal to the second mirror. The second mirror bounces the signal onto the beam splitter. Distance between the second mirror and the beam splitter is 7 inches. So that gives me 14 inches to play with. I move the first mirror such that it gives me the entire spectrum to translate, and I'm guessing 2 inches. That leaves me 5 inches from the first mirror to the point source. Oh, you know what? Fuck. Wait. I think it'll work. This is in the center. This is in the center. It's not going to go up and down. It's going to go translational. Yes. Yes. Absolutely effing yes, it's going to work. Where's my pen? Did I lose it? So now this mirror goes translational. Does not go up and down. The other mirror has to follow suit, and the only way it's going to get the signal back onto the beam splitter is if it tilts. And I'll deal with that problem later. But this distance here is only going to be like a half an inch. I can't go more than an inch at the bottom of the case. I I think it's going to be a little bit more than 14 inches. That mirror is going to be like right at the top of the case and slide back and forth. Or actually go up and down. And the pole that holds that is going to be off to the side of the slit. So if this is 2 inches, I mean, this might be like half an inch. So that's going to give me 4.5 inches from the top, from the slit to the point source now. Which means a very small change in the point source is going to affect a very large change in that mirror. I don't think I can have it that close. I don't think I can do 7 inches. I think I gotta go back with 6 or even 5 or something. I don't know. I only got so much space in that computer case. I think this is what I was gonna do tonight. Is we got these mirrors that we have to put in, and whether or not there's a lens that goes in there. So if I were to explore this, so I've got to build a prototype setup with mirrors, a slit, the diffraction grating, and see what I can get for this setup, unless if I build the actual slit portion. I could actually build the whole prototype interferometer. That'd be 14 inches long. 1/7, and yeah, not so easy. I feel like I'm forgetting something. That's it. I figured out what to do with the mirrors. They're going to go in the center. The mirror mounting is going to be one major. So now what happens when I go to the spectrometer? So the spectrometer has a slit opening. That's in the middle. So the spectrometer, let's see, spectrometer. And I don't know, I have to go back and look at this stuff. So actually, it's already, the signal's already going to be diffraction graded. So this is going to be diffraction graded signal already. So I think all this does is just go to a mirror. detector. It goes to a mirror. The detector's at the top of the computer case. Other electronics. Now, what about the carrier wave? That's a mixed signal. That's all stuff that's handled before at the light source. I think we're just going to use, let's see here. I'm just about done. Let's just get rid of that. Oops, get rid of that. Go back here. I'll bring this back down. I should be streaming this because it's. And then go to here. I actually don't know. What is this? Spectrum analyzer. Why did I want to go back in there? I don't know why. That's it. That's it. It just goes, the camera has software that looks at the spectrum. So it goes back into another slit on the right, and it goes into the dark room. In the dark room, it just hits a mirror, and the mirror bounces the signal. Or it doesn't even have to hit a mirror, really. I could just put it here. I could put the detector, maybe a lens, in front of it. Polarizers, filters, yeah. Polarizers, filters. Could do all the filtering in the dark room. Peachy keen, yeah. I am tired, and so I'm gonna work on the prototype for the slit thing. Maybe I can figure out how to put those mirrors in there manually, or I gotta build something. But that's it. I am done for the night, and I gotta I was supposed to build a power supply, but I'm gonna work on these mirrors. I cleaned a bunch of lenses. How I did that was I soaked the old lenses and stuff in soapy water for about, well, it's supposed to be just like 1 day, but it ended up being 2 days. And then I just ran very warm, almost hot water over the top of the lenses to clean off the residual dirt. And as a matter of fact, you know what I could do? I could show you. Where am I here? I'll be right back. I'm going to show you one of the lenses. I could show you two of them, maybe. up, and I got these for free. And we're also going to do that Slaringer device too. I got a telescope. I got a small telescope right there on the floor. It's looks like a 3 or 4 inch refractor or whatever. I'm going to convert that somehow and use it as in the Slaringer system. No, these are still a little bit tacky wet. So this is like an example. This is like a microscope lens. Let me see here. Let me just put myself up here in space. So it's like this, and supposedly it's really, really clean. This is another lens I picked up here. It's larger, as you can see. I'm going to go ahead and look through these and find out exactly how clean they are. If I can find a focal point. Oh, yeah, there's still some moisture on it. So it's still drying out. And this one, now we know this one's a microscope lens. I can't really see anything. So I'm going to grab me a handy dandy laser from my handy dandy box that handy dandy disappeared. I got about half a dozen lasers. That one doesn't work. So I've got this laser here. And I'm going to shoot a beam through the underside of this microscope lens. As if I was looking at it. Let me point this into the camera here. Yeah, I can't really see anything very well out of that. Yeah, I don't really know what the hell's going on with that. Now if I shine this, okay, so if I shine this on the wall, I can get a nice round circle there. But it's its focal length is a little bit long. So you could put like another lens in there to get magnification or whatever. But if I do it from a distance, it kind of just uses the glass thing. What happens if I put this right into the camera here? All right. I'm going to slide this over to the camera. You could burn the CCD out, you know. You could burn it out if there's too much light in there. There's the laser light, which is sort of like infrared. Anyway, I gotta put these things away. Let them dry out more. Yeah, I got a bunch of lenses. The mirrors and stuff I gotta go look through. We do it another time. And I gotta clear off this whole bench and work on this mirror system and see how if I can get, I need to get the diffraction graded colors into the beam splitter. And they need to be focused and they need to be adjustable. That's the trick of the day. And I'm all done. Have a nice night. Hasta later, peace and namaste and all that good stuff.